Hatfield McCoy Museum, Liberty, Kentucky. I'm Fred McCoy. Behind the camera's Sheila McCoy. Our website is fredmccoy.com if you want more information on the museum. The story we're going to cover now is on Wall Hatfield, page 222 in our big book, Monument for a Murderer. And I was listening to a video a while back, and the gentleman on there, let me just get the board. We've got all these boards on the wall here for people so they can actually look at when they're in the museum and read about things, and you don't have to take our word for stuff. You can see it for yourself. The great-grandson of Valentine, Wall Hatfield, still searching for answers. And it says that Russell Hatfield of Tazewell County, Virginia, talks about Wall Hatfield. My grandfather gave himself up. He was innocent, but they found him guilty. Russell Hatfield recalls that his great-grandfather died in Pike County Prison after surrendering to authorities who issued arrest warrants for all the Hatfield's brothers, whether they were involved or not. Well, Patterson wasn't involved. Smith Hatfield, Devil Lance's other brother, wasn't involved. Good Elias wasn't involved. Those three men were not arrested. It didn't happen. So why would, and first of all, he says that he was died in Pike County Jail. He wasn't in Pike County Jail. He was in prison by then. My great-grandfather gave himself up. He gave himself up. Well, I'll probably have to show you in the book because I don't see it on this form. But if I ain't mistaken, this day came Frank Phillips in the office of the court, the receipt for the jailer of Pike County for the body of Valentine Hatfield. Show that right there. Just close in where they can look at it. And Frank Phillips was paid $100 reward bounty by the courts for the arrest of Valentine Wall Hatfield. This puts to rest the stories over the years who have said Wall Hatfield turned himself in. Do you remember in the Hatfield McCoy mini-series where he says, I forget that guy's name, but I like him. He's a great actor. And he says, they'll not collect no bounty on me. He's going to turn himself in. That's what the movie says. Why would they pay Frank Phillips $100 for arresting you when you turned yourself in? So if you want to believe that the man turned himself in, you can believe it. But he didn't. Frank Phillips arrested him and he took him to jail. My grandfather, Allen Hatfield, was 97 years old when he died in 1975. Now, but today we're talking about Wall Hatfield. So let's stick with the story. Russ Hatfield said he never talked about the feud, but he remembered the day they took his father, Wall Hatfield, away. He was about 8 years old when this happened. When she got there, a man told her the records were sealed, and she looked at them. Hatfield said then the man told her to come back the next day. When she came back the next day, now this is his aunt, Irma, and she's gone to the Kentucky State Prison in Frankfort, Kentucky to look for the records on Wall Hatfield. And the man told her to come back the next day. When she came back, he told her that a couple of months after he was put in prison, he was put in a cell with the McCoy family members and McCoy sympathizers, and they killed him. We never knew where they buried him. Well, you never knew where they buried him because your loving Uncle Devilance was too cheap and didn't care enough about him to go pick up his body. He's buried in a parking lot down there somewhere. There's an asphalt parking lot over top of where the prison cemetery was of people that were unclaimed. If the family didn't claim the body once they died or were put to death, they were put in the prison cemetery. So that's where he's at. Now, good luck on finding it. I'd love to know if you ever find it. That'd be nice to. So we've discovered that he was arrested. He didn't turn himself in. Now here's the prison records. He died February 13th, 1890. February 13th, 1890. Here's some pictures of the prison, Kentucky State Penitentiary, where he's at. There was no death records prior to 1900 kept at the prison. Wall was convicted in 1889, and there was no prison records kept until after 1900. So that's why you can't find nothing on him. But up here's the rest of it. Valentine Hatfield. He was in prison for murder. He was given life, L-I-F-E. He was convicted in Pike County, and he was convicted on January the 20th of 1889. And there's his height and his weight. Weighed 162 pounds. And I'll get Sheila to take a picture of this board because there's some great information. It's got the entire interview here with Russ. There's a picture of, that's supposed to be his grandson. And there's the entire story. Here's our story from the book that's in our book here. There's the copy of it. Of This Day Comes Frank Phillips, and turns over Valentine Hatfield to the jailer for the murder of Tolbert, Farmer, and Randolph McCoy. Now, he writes in here, him or somebody else on another video, and they say, here's the $100 where he's paid a bond, a bounty. Frank Phillips got $100 for bringing Wall Hatfield to jail. Now let me explain something to you about this, because if it doesn't say it down through there, it does on a video that we watched. And they say, my grandfather was guilty of nothing. He wasn't even with them when they burnt the cabin. And again, you've got there's some smart people out there that can make you think anything if you want to, I guess. And for people that don't know what they're saying, that's fine. If you want, it's fun to research the feud because you can prove so many people wrong and catch so many people in fibs, or in some cases downright lies, just to make them look better. And it's sad. But they're right. They're right. He wasn't at the cabin burning. Wall Hatfield wasn't at the cabin burning. Wall Hatfield was not charged for being at the cabin burning. Wall Hatfield was not charged with killing Alifair or Calvin McCoy or beating Sarah McCoy. So they're right when they say that, but it's a smokescreen, because Wall Hatfield was one of those on, Sheila, help me find it, the indictments. Where is the indictments? Right here. Let's see. I just want to prove to myself. Let's see if I'm wrong. These are the people that was indicted in 1882, September, in the Pike County grand jury. They were indicted for willful murder. Anderson Hatfield, Johnsy Hatfield, Cap Hatfield. Oh, who is this? Valentine Hatfield. Now, I see something here to make a point, Ed. If you haven't seen the video, watch our videos, you're going to run across it. We were talking about good Elias Hatfield earlier, where he had written a letter to the governor and had some other people write letters to the governor on his behalf saying that he was not involved. Look at the next name down underneath Valentine. There's good Elias. So he was indicted and on there until he had the people to go and say that he wasn't there. Now, the person that's not on there is Crazy Jim Vance. There's a lot of people that ask over the time, why wasn't Jim Vance named? And me and Sheila talked to his great grandson years ago, back before they filed the lawsuit against the cemetery, and when we could go up there freely and talk to the man and enjoy each other's company. He was telling us that Jim Vance had told the men when they got done there, he said, if every one of you ever say that I was here, I'll kill every one of you and I'll kill your families. And that made the mark. Now some people says, oh, I don't know if they would listen. They feared Jim Vance. Devil Anse Hatfield feared Jim Vance. That was the man. He was behind it. And that's why Devil Anse got scared. Once they killed Jim Vance, he knew that he was vulnerable. He knew if they could get to Jim, they could get to him. But back to the Wall Hatfield stories, he was not charged with burning the cabin or being at the cabin. He refused to go. That's when Devil Anse got mad at him. When Devil Anse wanted him to go to the cabin burning with the rest of them. Let's kill them all. Let's kill them all. We won't have no witnesses against us. And Wall didn't go. He'd had enough. He had already killed the 3 McCoys. He'd had enough. And after he didn't go, him and Devil Anse never spoke again. Devil Anse felt hard at him, and that's why Devil Anse didn't go pick his body up and take him home and give him a good burial. Like I said, he couldn't have went himself, but he certainly could have sent some of his loggers or employees or some of his family that wasn't wanted by the law. Anyway, that was just one of the things we wanted to cover there on Wall Hatfield. This is Fred and Sheila McCoy, keeping it real. Catch you next time.